and welcome back to another episode of the Backlog Breakdown. I am one of your hosts, Nate, and this is a video game podcast where we seek to encourage and equip the church to engage the medium wisely and responsibly. In other words, we want to help you play well. And again, I'm one of your hosts, but I'm joined by my friend and brother in Christ and my co-host, the inestimable, inimitable,
Oh,
and just
you can't estimate me or imitate me.
Imitate you.
All
the praise I was about to heap on your head, I take back.
Inimitable.
You dullard. Now it's my buddy Josh, and so
hello.
Yeah, it's us. And
I'm a bit of a dullard.
We're all bits of if the Hunter Cosmos taught me anything, it's that we're all kind of dullards.
Far too dullardish.
We are too just dull.
I like dullard on my sandwiches. It's pretty good.
Dullard on your sandwich? What? I don't even know what you were trying to like.
Mustard or dill. It just sounds like a spread,
like a
that you
heavily
put on.
dilled mustard, maybe.
Yeah,
dullard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you're an idiot. I'm an idiot.
It's true.
This is idiotic.
But welcome. Thank you for joining in our
Thanks, folks.
idiocy.
We're glad to have you here. Welcome to the crazy train.
Mm-hmm.
But so tonight, folks,
off the rails.
We don't really have a topic per se.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we kind of do, but not really. What we're going to do is we're going to do basically an extended backlog report. So that's
right.
I promise nothing, but this might be a briefer episode than some of our other fare. But we're just going to talk about what we've been into, what we've been playing, and just actually maybe a little bit thinking about just how where we're at in life right now is really sort of affecting the pace of our consumption and exploration.
Oh,
so that's it. But no actual real topic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're just gonna. It's gonna be like, hey, do you remember when we would have the first half of the show would be 2 hours, almost hour and a half, 2 hours, on the regular, and sometimes it still is. But
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We do
tend
to run kind of long, but yes, I remember those days. Yeah,
really play along with the bit, you nitwit, you dullard. You're ruining my bit here.
I remember, Nate. In the long ago days. The long ago days. I remember those days.
What you were supposed to say was or you could have just said you mean last episode.
Ah, yeah. Not quite as quick on the wits this time around. But yes, those were longer days.
I've been saying you're witless for years now. I'm glad that you acknowledge that.
Without wits or estimates. Inestimable.
Or imitations.
Without imitation.
Your dull-witted witlessness is inimitable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, man, we're just kind of
that's your estimation.
That's my estimation. I don't know how you keep bringing estimations into it.
Well, you said,
what did I say?
I said inestimable, and inimitable, right?
But in saying inestimable, I think what I'm saying is that you can't be estimated. You know that,
right?
You are beyond that. So
right.
I don't know. Anyways, we're just
you said it, not me. I clearly didn't say it very well.
No. Well, and apparently I completely misspoke. So, but all right. So,
with that said, or at least attempted to have been said,
enough of our buffoonery. We need to get into this, man. So, Josh, it has been a minute. Yes, it has been a minute since we last spoke.
Whole minute.
How are you doing, my guy?
Yeah, I am doing all right. No, in general, doing good. There's a bunch that's happened over the past couple weeks since we talked last. There was a blood moon. There was a trailer for Death Stranding 2 that was revealed at South by Southwest. It was Mario Day. There's a lot that's happened. But I won't get into any of that. Actually, the kind of the big thing, at least something that's going to be popping up in this episode. So here I am setting the scene here. Is I went and had some blood drawn this past week. So my last physical, I took a blood panel, and there
Oh,
were a
I got
few
it.
things that were a
Ooh,
little
I need to
off.
schedule
Was that?
mine. Shoot.
Ah,
I'm
so
supposed to
so
get one of those done.
I scheduled it at the end of last year, which, guys, love being a part of a smaller town because you can schedule and go like within the same week, which is crazy. I thought it would, take forever to get in, um, coming from Austin. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Last time back in December, my family doctor, he was like, "Oh, there's some things that are a little off here. We'll take a look at it. Nothing too not that big of a deal, but in about 3 months, we'll go ahead and see, if this is just a one off or whatever." And still fairly new here, so we're still just getting a baseline for things. Anyways, went and got blood done, and there was something that was it's not like majorly crazy out of whack, but apparently my thyroid is not it is not working quite as well as it ought to. So there's hyperthyroid, where it works too well, and hypothyroid, where it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't quite work well enough. And apparently this thing is like a regulator of all kinds of different things in the body, like your metabolism, your energy, and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, levels were so I don't mean to go too far into it, but basically, in order to tell the thyroid to do stuff, your body creates this hormone. So thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. And it's just high according to my blood. And it was testing even a little bit higher this time around, which means that my thyroid just isn't quite doing its job. Like my body's trying to get it to do its job, and it's not doing it as well. The only reason I bring this up, it's not that big of a deal, but the only reason I bring this up is because it's like, okay, that kind of explains how I get pretty tired. I thought that was just getting older, mid-30s, climbing my way to 40. I figured it was just getting old. And then of course, you start Googling around and Googling stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, hypothyroidism. That's most common in like 60-year-old women. I'm like, oh, that makes me feel awesome.
Wah, wah,
Uh,
wah.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I'm starting off. It's nothing to be like super, concerned with or anything like that. My doctor was like, yeah, this is a little high. We'll talk about it more at your next visit, basically. But now that it's been twice, it's like, okay, it's just kind of how your body's working right now. So I've been trying to take some more vitamins with some other nutrients, see if that might affect it a little bit, get my
So
energy up a
bring
little
it
bit. So.
back to whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, that I will be referring back to that throughout the episode. But
Your hypothyroidism.
yeah, exactly. This little dude, I think it sits somewhere around here. Anyways, it's a crazy little thing.
I think. Yeah, I do think it's somewhere up here because,
Mhm.
and it's, but Nala, I
Okay.
think the tumor that ended up killing her was
Oh.
growing on her thyroid.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Man,
I hated that
that's
thing.
rough.
That
The tumor, not the thyroid.
yeah, she was getting rough there towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Well,
Anyways,
anyways, yeah,
yeah.
that's what I've been into. But no, I'm doing good. How about you? How have you been since last we
Um,
had
I
video
mean,
game discussions?
today has been a roller coaster. I mean,
Okay.
so
Of emotion?
yes, lots of peaks and valleys today.
Okay.
Mostly valleys. Uh,
Hmm.
but I managed to, like, I thought it was just like allergies, but I think what was originally allergies has kind of morphed into more of a just a head cold kind of thing. So that's why I
Okay.
sound all like gravelly and cool.
Gotcha.
Not because
Yeah.
this is, yeah,
Inestimable.
like, yeah. Um, this is my, like, I've drank a fifth of whiskey and smoked an entire carton of Marlboro Reds,
Mm.
and I'm now ready to like fight all the cowboys.
Like a super cool guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be super cool, and I'm gonna be winded in 10 seconds because yeah, carton of cigarettes, that's a lot of ciggies. Um but yeah, so we've got that. Like I was like, yeah, we're finally healthy. And then we had like some nice days, and I went out and smoked a
Mm-hmm.
cigar, and it was like, shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
And I, like I said, I think it was more allergies than anything else. But yeah, things are okay here. Like weather wise, it's kind of like we're in like the, like what I would call like false spring, where it's
Yeah.
like it gets
Yeah.
warm, but then it's like it's stupid cold, and it's like you like winter's like on its way out, but it's like it's kicking and fighting. It's doing some like it's just not behaving itself. Um, so there's
Yep.
that. Just, and that's annoying, but yeah, the big thing was like today. Today was just like I said, lots of emotions today.
Mm.
The car
Mm.
broke down, not not the Jeep, not the new Jeep, but our car. And
Okay.
I think it's an intake issue. Like I think it's something with like the intake system, or it could be part of the, like sort of like the vacuum stuff, like a vacuum issue. Um,
Okay.
but so got that towed up to the shop, and they'll call us tomorrow. But like that just put me in a mood, and
Yeah.
I
Makes
was
sense.
kind of like discouraged. And then I came home, and my dog had gotten into the trash, and there was like a pile of chewed up, shredded trash. And I yelled at
Mm.
her, and then she made me mad because she wouldn't go outside. So yeah, just, and then I came home, and I was just tired, you know. But now I'm here,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I'm recording with my bud, with
Nice.
with my homie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like, highs and lows. Like we got
Totally.
there's something potentially pretty cool coming that,
Ooh.
well, yeah, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah, I mean, I told you what it was. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
there's just like someone there's a chance that someone will be incredibly generous with me and my wife, and that will
Mm-hmm.
sort of like change a lot of things for us. Not like, but it'll just really free us up to do a lot more with life in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
that's pretty exciting. Um,
Yeah.
so
Nice.
yeah,
That's awesome,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm pretty. It's like just kind of. I'm just ready. Like how sometimes, okay, like it hasn't been like bad, right? Like there's been
Mm-hmm.
ups and downs, and like I had to buy the Jeep a couple months ago, and I freaked out about that because like the thought of taking on a car payment is like enough to like just like it
It's
makes me ill.
yeah, it's not
Um,
fun. Yeah.
no, I'm I still need to get rid of my other Jeep. I've got to order a new title. I got to do that tomorrow.
Ah,
Uh,
okay.
um, I've been needing to do that for a minute now. Um, but it's like, how sometimes you just feel like you're kind of in a rut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we were sick for so long, and we're just got like, and it just feels like I'm just ready to get out of the rut, like
Yeah.
ready to like get traction and sort of like move on. And so
Mm-hmm.
some of that is just like
Yeah.
stuff that we need to do at home, like a little bit better. But yeah, no, we're okay.
I
So
feel you. It's like when you're in an area in Elden Ring and you just like can't get past a certain area and it keeps knocking you back, and then finally you get past that, and then the stuff past that is even harder. You're like, are you kidding me right now?
I hope
This is lame.
I hope that real life is not like Elden Ring in that like I hope my
It's
life
not
does
quite as
not
horrifying.
follow that trajectory, because
Yeah.
it's gonna get real gross real quick. We did have some. I'll tell you what though, we had a tornado watch the
Oh,
other day. I
nice.
was watching, but I didn't see any tornadoes, which would
Okay.
have been like simultaneously cool and very scary.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we've gotten a bunch of those since we've been here. I mean, over the past year, we haven't gotten any this year, but last year there were like 2 of them, 2 or 3. Well, no, the ones that touched down were not too, maybe 45 minutes away, something like that. Anyways,
I would
it's
like
kind of
to
crazy.
see a tornado in real life, but
Mhm.
do it in a capacity where it's like I'm not imminently threatened.
Yeah,
Does that make
yeah,
sense?
that's the goal. You know,
Like it would be super cool to
that's
watch
it.
one touchdown somewhere and be
From
like,
like as you're riding a roller coaster, that'd be so cool. But like in a glass case, like a Pope mobile that you just like can't get through. So even if you got sucked up, or
I would.
in like
Oh,
a refrigerator,
you know what I would want?
yeah,
I would want like basically like sort of like the Pope Mobile, but
Mhm.
like a hamster ball, and I'm suspended in
Yes,
the middle of it
yes,
with like a series of like cables and springs. And
Hmm.
so I could be like hurled around at breakneck speeds
Yeah.
in the
You could be
tornado.
Bubble Boy.
I could be like, but like seriously like protected from the
Hmm.
tornado. I'm
Yeah,
just saying
you could
that'd
like
be kind of
watch the
sick.
cow like spinning around.
That'd be kind
You
of
just
like
be right
sick.
there. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be terrifying. Just get like hurled around in like a giant, you know,
Hmm.
plexiglass bubble.
Yeah, but if you knew you'd be safe, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it'd kind of be
Especially
cool.
if you were the Pope. No, not really. Then you would not be safe. Anyways, enough about that. Let's. I think we've got some media to report on, right?
What?
Some media to
No.
report on.
No. We don't need this. No. Stop. Stop. We don't need this. This song does not make me smile. What are you drinking?
So this is a beer that we got while we were in Wisconsin. It is a Scotch ale
Oh,
by
it's
Lake
pretty
Louis
good.
Brewing. Warp Speed is what it's called. It is delicious.
Oh, Warp Speed. I get that reference. It's a Star Trek
Oh,
reference.
yes. Yeah, and you see little lines on the can.
Yeah.
Going to warp speed because it's like, I want to say it's
Scotty
like,
was a Scotsman.
oh yeah, there you go.
It's a Scotch ale.
I didn't
I
even
like
get that
that.
until just now, but there you go. That makes a lot of sense.
No.
I like that.
Joshua.
Anyways,
For shame.
we've got some stuff to report on, some media that we've been into over the past week.
Yeah, I guess.
In addition to just all the ups and downs, I guess this is really all ups, I mean, unless you've got some media that you want to report on that you just like cannot recommend at all, which seems kind of counterintuitive. Well, I mean, no,
Well,
sometimes you
and since
enjoy things how bad
this
they
is
are.
like a long form backlog
Yeah.
report episode kind of
Mhm.
thing, I think for as a general rule, we tend to stick to 3 pieces of media.
Yes.
But if you want to like drag an extra 1 or 2 in there to sort of like talk
Oh.
about it, we can open that a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
So
Well, right now I've got 3 pieces that I'll bring, and then actually a 4th will show up a little bit later. So that's a tool that we'll use for later.
a teaser.
Yeah.
A teaser.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways,
Cool.
the first thing that I have, the first piece of media is one that I've been listening to. The other day, my favorite band, Coheed and Cambria, released another album. And because they're a weird sci-fi band, of course, the name of the album, it's ridiculous. It's Vaxis 3, the father of make-believe, is what it's called. And it's good. And I dig it. It's not quite as like,
Why would he name his child Make Believe?
you know, not everything is literal, Nate. The child actually in the story, his name is Vaxis. Vaxis is who the child is. And then this is the 3rd in the Vaxis series of albums. This is actually the 11th album by Coheed and Cambria.
But this
this
is the
current
3rd
set.
in the Vaxis series.
Right. Yep. There's Vaxis 1. I can't remember what that one was called. The second one is Window of the Waking Mind. And then this 3rd one is The Father of Make Believe.
Do they still do like the rock opera kind of like
Yes.
concept album stuff?
Yeah. And so this one's actually pulling from some of the older ones as well into kind of where the current timeline story
so
is.
like Coheed and Cambria like their albums are literally just like stories?
They are basically the soundtracks to the stories, so you will not be able to get the stories from the songs. You
Okay.
might be able to get like pieces of it, vignettes of it, but like you need to actually like they have some novellas and stuff out now that
What?
will explain the stories, but the songs are basically the soundtracks to that. So there might be songs about certain characters and about how they're feeling and stuff like
Okay,
that,
this
but
is
it
kind of
doesn't
like selling
actually.
me on Coheed and Cambria a
Oh,
little bit.
okay. Okay.
Like, is there like a Vaxis novella? Like, have you read any of
Yeah.
the books?
I haven't read any of Vaxis. I have some of the comic books from their the first series. I'm trying to think of if they even had a name. Um, I don't think so. But the first album was Second Stage Turbine Blade, so that was the second volume. The third volume was In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth was their second album, so that's the third. The fourth volume was the third record. Fifth
Okay.
volume, or actually the fourth was split into two, which is ridiculous. Anyways, there was the first set of 5, and then there was a double album that they wrote all at once, but they released it in 2 parts. The Aftermen, and that was like a prequel to those 5, because at the end of the 5, which was actually the fourth one, because the fifth one was the first one in the way
Okay,
that it
so
shakes
I'm
down.
gonna need you to break this down for me like I'm 5 years old.
Okay.
Where should I start?
Oh man, I mean, because it's music, it depends. What are you trying to get out of it? Are you
I don't
trying to
know,
just
man. Like
like
it,
what does Coheed sound like?
like sell me on this. Like, because I like the concept of like listening to an album.
Yeah.
Is like it'd be so much cooler if they would like just like the album would like actually like tell the story a little bit too. You
Yeah.
know,
No, it's not. So that would be more like I think of The
if I
Who.
want, if I okay, let me pitch it this way.
Yeah.
If I want to experience some of this like multimedia experience that Coheed and Camera, where is a fairly accessible place for me to start? Like the Aldermen, is that what you said?
The
Is like
Afterman.
the
Yeah.
Afterman?
So that, because it's only 2 albums,
Does
yeah,
it
I
have like
would
a
say
comic book or something to
it
go with, or like does it have any accompanying media?
it does, and I have it, but it's not like even that's not a full on like story. It's a short story basically.
Okay.
Um, so I'm trying to remember where I might have just like gone through Google searches and things like that, and YouTube videos that kind of explain things more. There is one of the records, their 5th record, right before the Afterman, actually came with like a novel, and I remember reading through that one, and I enjoyed that. And then I have some of the comic books from
Who
the
writes the
first few
books
albums.
though?
It depends. So different one.
Like people
David
from the
something.
bands?
No,
Oh,
they don't
okay.
actually. So the guy from the band who writes the lyrics, the singer, he also does some comic books and other things. He's got side projects and all kinds of stuff. Weird guy, but cool guy. I like him a lot. But I don't think he actually he has the story, planned out, and he's the one who's doing it. But he doesn't actually write the books. He works with writers to write them, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
I'm
So,
gonna like I'm
yeah.
like I just need, like I said, I need sort of like I need something to like sort of like prove this concept for me. And if like
Mhm.
it's like one of those things where it's like I could maybe get into this, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Anyways, so
the other shade of it, so yeah, I would say the Afterman. There's Ascension and Descension is how they split that double album.
okay.
Um, or there's also, if you get it on streaming, the deluxe edition has both of them. In terms of how you would find, I'm not sure how you would find like something to read alongside it. But I'm sure if you just search
What
some
the
Google,
heck?
Happy St.
What the heck
Patrick's Day.
happened there?
That was not Coheed and Cambria, but
No, that was
there are no
Copperhead
bagpipes.
Road. I don't know why that was. I was trying to Google Aftermen or Afterman, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Afterman.
Yeah.
The deluxe edition.
Yeah.
So that
That's got
has
both of them.
okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, So the other part of it, just to throw to make it even more, I mean, not necessarily more complicated, but just another kind of shade in there, is that like a lot of the singer has said like he started writing in this sci-fi story so that he wouldn't have to write directly about things in his life, if that makes sense. But it's all like different perspectives on the
Things
feelings
from
that
his
he's had.
life.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the first few albums were based on his parents' relationship, and the difficulties that they faced. There's an album, one of my favorite albums is like very angry about uh about a breakup basically. So it's about like murder and death and stuff like that. And it's funny because it's actually written about who's now his wife, and they've been married for quite a while now. But they had broken up at one time,
And
and
he
so
was
he wrote all this stuff.
apparently
Yes.
very unhappy about
Yes.
that.
Right, exactly. So anyways, there's stuff, so sometimes the story, like, you can tell it's a little fragmented, but it's because it's like, oh, this song was really about a time and a place. He just kind of like put it into this story as he's so you see, so like after the Afterman and now into these Vaxis albums, it's about this kid Vaxis and his parents, of course, because the singer is a parent now. And so like now what he's writing
Oh.
about is like not even necessarily raising his child, but like watching his child grow and seeing how special his child is.
But
So
he's
now it's
doing it
like,
through the
yeah,
sci-fi story
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Okay, this
exactly.
is okay.
So
See, I never
weird
had
stuff.
anybody explain Coheed and Cambria that
Hmm.
way. And maybe
Okay.
you had and it just didn't appeal to me at the time. But like now that I'm like, so what's the name of the novella? Or maybe I guess I can just Google that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'm not quite sure. For those, I need to go back and like and iron out some of the story myself. But the Afterman story, I mean, it's yeah, there you go. Is not like not necessarily straightforward, but it's a lot easier to understand. There's not like a million different characters like there seems to be in some of the other ones.
the
But some of the characters from the
Afterman.
Afterman
Or
show
maybe
up
I
in
just like
Vaxis.
Coheed and Cambria
Lore.
books.
Right.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is like okay, this is really interesting now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am a
Like
nerd, so
no,
you know.
dude. It's like I knew they were prog rock and I listened to some stuff, but I knew that they did like concept album stuff.
Mhm.
But I didn't know that there was like it was sort of like a multimedia thing, which
Yeah.
like so it's like cuz like dude, I got to be honest, like sometimes I'll listen to songs and I will there was this thing, okay, where I would like I had like soundtracks that I would pick out. Okay,
Mhm.
this is gonna sound really stupid, but back when Evanescence was kind of like a big thing,
Yeah.
um, I would think about like there was like a storyline that I would kind of like map out according to some of these songs, like not
Mhm.
really even like the songs themselves. Or sometimes
Mhm.
when I listen to Muse albums, like I kind of like write little
Okay.
stories in
Yeah.
my head. I like Muse. Muse
Mhm.
is a good time.
It's been quite a while since I've listened to them, but yeah, they're very creative.
It's got a
Certainly.
really wild sound.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And
this
yeah,
dude,
their
lot of
singer
really
is a
crazy stuff.
beast.
Well, dude, and their bass player, man, like he can just like,
They're all crazy. They're
dude,
all
he just like, dude, like sometimes it's oh, I can't remember. Daggone it. There's one song in particular where like he just like he's like doing like the slap bass stuff,
Mhm.
and it is like just so punchy and awesome. I'm like,
Mhm.
I wish I could play bass guitar like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, there are moments if you listen for it that I hear that in Coheed, especially some of these last albums of
Mm.
like, and I mean it's been in the past as well, but just like certain fills and things where it's like, oh man, yeah, you're really good.
Cool,
Anyways,
cool.
yeah. So dig the album. The only thing I will, fair warning, there are a couple songs where there's some language. One of which happens to be like the second song. So after the opening song, like the first song, first like kind of like full song in has some language, and I'm like, dang it, you really have to do that. So early on, but then I think there's only one other song on the album that has language. So, yeah, fair warning, but I like
Cool.
it. So that
Kind of
is the
sick.
first thing to note, the media to report on. The other things, and this should go a little bit quicker, is that, you know what? I'll save the real. Well, no, never mind, never mind. The, my wife and I started watching a show for nostalgia's sake, and that is Naruto, the anime
Oh.
Naruto. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's right.
just
Sam's a
out of nowhere.
weeb.
Y-
Or
She
she's at
she
least weeb adjacent.
Right. Yes, there are a few shows that she enjoys, but Naruto was one that she like got really into. Like
Mm.
she has watched more Naruto than I have. So as we're scrolling
Believe
through
it.
stuff on, well, not the English. The tibayo
Oh. So
is what it is
she
in
does have
Japanese.
some taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
Can't.
like, listen, I watch a lot of dub just because like
Uh huh.
that's like I actually I'm like, well, I'll talk little bit about. I'll add this to mine, but that
Okay. Okay.
Suzume,
Hmm.
um, yeah. But I've been watching it in dub. Anyways, but
Okay.
I'll talk about it a little bit later. Anyways, so we've been watching
Gotcha.
Naruto.
Yeah. Yeah. So and it's fun. It's funny. Maybe there's some pacing stuff, or maybe it's just because I know what's going to happen. I can't wait to to get to certain arcs and things like that. So, anyways, we're just enjoying it. It's funny because actually just earlier, after the kids went down for bed, she was watching it, and it's early on. Okay, so one of the first arcs, and it's a shonen manga, so it's
Power of
written for
friendship.
like teenage boys, but there's this scene where it's like giving the backstory of this bad guy, and it shows his dad is like is basically being crucified, and it looks like his arms are ripped off, and he's like crucified up on this pole, and he's just like weeping as this child because it's like a whatchamacallit, oh my goodness,
It's a backstory.
flashback. That's what
Oh,
I'm
it's a
trying to say,
flashback. Okay,
flashback.
yeah, yeah.
And so he's just like this little kid who's just like watching his dad
This is
die.
the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, to kind of give you an idea of who this bad guy is. And so like just as a child, he saw his dad die and he's just like weeping. And I'm like, yeah, this is when this show probably won't show this to our kids for another few years. This is probably a little too intense, with some of the stuff that goes on. So anyways, Naruto, I do like it. It's a lot of
Hmm.
fun.
Believe it.
Yeah, there's a bit. There's a bit of questionable content at times because he's a
Oh,
little rascal, and there's some
dude, I love
pervy
his
characters.
sexy jutsu, his sexy clone
Yeah,
jutsu.
that's what.
Like
And it's like immediately off the bat, like first episode, he's like, because it shows like part of who he is, like a little rascal, like trying to get
he's
people to.
he's a little naughty.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, Naruto, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
And then lastly is a book that I listened to. It's called Toxic Empathy by Allie Beth Stuckey. And I quite enjoyed it. I do think it was primarily written for women, just because of the way that she talks sometimes, like refers to women as us or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm probably not the target audience necessarily.
I mean, you do have hypothyroidism, so
That's
you're
right.
basically a
So I'm
60-year-old woman.
basically postmenopausal at this point. Uh, yeah.
Your words, not mine.
That is not what I said. But anyways, yeah, no, I enjoyed it because I mean, she's making the argument of how empathy can be weaponized, basically.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's funny enough, we were talking a little bit about this before we started the main episode recording in our bro hang, about how often we get one side of the story from a lot of the stories that we hear. And without hearing the other side of the story, we can't really judge rightly. And so, and that's what she does a lot in the book, is not simply kind of straw man the opposite side of the arguments that she approaches, But she shows how, like, okay, like, this is the narrative that is being told about, and it's primarily current day political or theological issues. So transgenderism, LGBT, abortion, things like that. And here's the narrative that we're often presented, and here's, like, it is effectively presented because it speaks emotionally,
Yeah.
because you feel for the people who are actually harmed in these things. But like, let's stop for a moment and then let's see the other side of this. Like, what does this lead to, and who else is involved in this, and what, like, let's get a full picture of this issue and address it. And so I thought it was very effective, because it's not simply saying that, oh, all empathy is wrong, and not all empathy is toxic. It's simply saying that, like, empathy can be used in such a way to lead you to false conclusions.
Well, no, that is good. That is that is yeah. Well, and there's a lot of emotional appeal and just sort of
Right.
today's messaging and everything else. I think too, one of the things is like, I read something where, where somebody basically ascribed part of the breakdown in sort of being able to talk across aisles politically and ideologically
Hmm.
is that we no longer really socially have the concept of like, you're wrong, where it's like that basically works out to like, you're wicked. This is wicked. This is evil.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
kind of dilutes, like, and I think part of the problem is, okay, and what I'm gonna say is that, as Christians, we do believe transgenderism is wicked. We do believe that a lot of these, like, abortion is wicked,
Hmm.
right? And there is a way to be gracious in that, but also like some of even what we're advocating for is pretty rigorously, like, vehemently opposed
Hmm.
to these things. And like we
Yeah.
would just say like, no, this is a wicked thing, but it's kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like, part of the breakdown though is that there are a lot of issues that aren't so sort of like ideologically oriented or
Hmm.
like polarizing, maybe, I don't know, that there's like something that I was reading lately where it's just like a lot of times it's like, this is wrong, this is something I don't like or I don't agree with, and instead of saying I think you're wrong, it just, we move right into like, I think you're evil.
Hmm.
And that really does break that, like, and one that dilutes the power of that word, right?
Hmm.
In a
Hmm.
sense, because like it's kind of like, if everything's evil, then nothing's evil. Kind of, it's like,
Yeah.
if everything's
Yeah.
awesome, nothing's awesome, kind of thing. If 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 everybody's Hitler, nobody's Hitler. Like,
Right.
these things
Yeah.
mean something, right? And there's gradations and categories, and I think like part of it is just like we're too flippant but
Hmm.
with language and categorization sometimes, and that like, there are a lot of things that we're just like, this is evil, but there's gradations, and there's and even the way that we talk about it, I think sometimes devalues the actual weight of these things. but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
anyways, like,
It's good.
I think that's a pretty sound thing. Like, it's, yeah, like there's been a lot of the current platforming with a lot of stuff is, there's a lot of emotionally charged rhetoric.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, cool.
Yep.
Cool, cool,
It
cool.
was good, and it was a short little listen too. I listened through it in like 2 days. Um,
Okay.
so I want to say it was like 6 hours total, but I usually listen to it at 1.5 or 2 speed or something like that. So, but yeah, that's what I've got. That's some of the stuff that I've been into lately, and I would recommend all of them with some slight caveats.
Mhm.
Language, something not in the book. The book, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
what you got? What media do you have to report on?
Was it? Well, I'm still working on Infinite Jest, and
Okay. Yeah.
dude, the audiobook is work, man. Like,
Okay.
I'm like halfway through, and I had to take a break because it was just
Okay.
like it was getting to be a little too much. But I'm still sort of like dogging away on that. I'm still sort of chewing a little bit on the Haunted Cosmos, the actual
Okay.
book.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but and I don't have much to say. I did get a little farther in Severance, and I'm gonna say
Okay.
by the end of the first season, that show is such a banger. Like
Okay.
I got through the first season, and I'm like, yep, no, yes, like I'm in. Uh, I'm trying to like slow roll through the second season a little bit because I don't want to like it's gonna be really hard, but like I just want to like so here's like the thing that's really wild about Severance, right?
Mhm.
The way that the first season ends, and there was like a 3-year gap between seasons. I can see why people were like obsessed with this show because
Okay.
like where
Okay.
it got and where it went and everything
There was a
else.
3-year gap. That's crazy, dude.
It was like it was like 2 or 3 years, and so hopefully it does not take that long for the third season because I
Sure.
know that if I have to wait like 2 or 3 years, it's going to be like tough. But that show
Mhm.
is like, but by the time where it gets to at the end of the first season, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty wild. It's weird.
Mhm.
But it's really I really like that show. Um,
Nice.
yeah, it's a really interesting concept. I'm pretty excited to see what the second season has in store. Like I think it's like yeah, again, like I think the questions and the premise and like cuz dude, it's but yeah, the end of season 1 like and here's what I would say, right? Is something like the Severance isn't going to be for everybody. But it is very much like Nate Bait. And I think if you like it, you've got to push through. You've got to get through a few the first couple episodes really the pacings are to me was kind of weird. Like I liked it, but
Okay.
I was like kind of iffy. And it wasn't until like the third episode where I was like, okay, like no, like I'm in. I'm committed. I'm gonna like I'm on this ride. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Where yeah, sometimes you watch a show and just like from like the get go, you're like, nope, this is cool. Like I'm into it. Like
Yeah.
it's a little bit of slow burn. If you so like I don't know, just like if you watch it and at first you're kind of like, whatever. Like give it a little bit of time. Like kind of
Okay.
it gets pretty interesting in my opinion. I think there's a lot of like basically they need to set the stage, and I think the first few
Yeah.
episodes really kind of do flesh out a lot of things. It doesn't answer many questions because that show just doesn't answer many questions. It's just like it just kind of keeps adding more questions to the pile, but at the
Okay.
same time, I'm just like, what? Like I said, there are genuine moments in that show where literally I think if anybody would have predicted like certain plot points or whatever, I would have been like, you're a psycho. You're
Yeah.
just an absolute lunatic. Like no way. Um, so Severance and I wanted to double back like the last piece of primary media, like and
Mhm.
I'm gonna talk about Suzume a little bit here in a second. But I wanted to talk about redeeming productivity. He just had an
Okay.
episode sort of drop. I just listened to the podcast. And I know that you had said that you listen to him, and I know a friend of the show, Jono, listens to his stuff and subscribes to the newsletter. Um, and I think when you brought him up the one time, I just sort of offered a little bit of pushback about Reagan's stance towards video games.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, I want to sort of amend that statement
Okay.
in the sense that I listened to some of his earlier stuff, and I think he was a little stronger, like anti video game. But I think lately his thing is like, listen, I was a video game addict, and I know that for me, like they're not helpful. And so like and I think
Mhm.
that as long as you couch it in that framework. So I want to say like I think his material is good, people. Like, just like add an
Yep.
endorsement and say like I was listening to some stuff and he's got a lot of really like practical insight. I think and frankly, I think it's really refreshing to have somebody writing sort of like productivity and producing productivity material with sort of a kingdom orientation in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like one of the things he said in one of the newsletters I read is like, that so much of the productivity and time management materials we have now are oriented towards like, why are you doing this? So that you have more time to do the things that you want, or so that you can become rich. And he's like, that's not really why we should be good stewards of our time. Like, it's some of these principles are good, but the underlying sort of like the driving factors are leave a lot to be desired.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do have a better answer and a better sort of like, we have a better way. So I thought that was good. And I just like I said, I've kind of circled back, and I excuse me, I've been listening to some of his stuff, and it's I would recommend it. And again, I think as long as we keep that caveat in there where he's just like, hey, like video games kind of shipwrecked his life for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the reasons he stays away from them for the most part is because he just doesn't trust himself. To which I would just say, like, dude, I think, well, just, it's like, if you don't want to play video games, that's fine. But like, we just, you're also free to do that. Um, so, but yeah, I,
Yeah.
you know, I wanted to double back on that, but
Yeah.
I
Cool.
haven't, and I haven't finished it, but I was watching Suzume, and I
Mm-hmm.
was watching it dubbed, and it's like the director is like one of those dudes who does like these weird kind of like very emotionally charged, kind of like gorgeous, like kind of like anime art flick kind of stuff.
Okay.
But it's weird. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's weird, but I like it. I mean, it's like anime. It kind of reminds me a lot of it's very sort of like metaphysically, like kind of like spirit realm oriented kind of stuff, like
Okay.
but it's cute because it's kind of like meet cute a little bit. It's kind of like rom-commy, like slice of life, but also not. I don't know.
So
It's
sort
just
of like Your Name?
I haven't I haven't watched Your Name in a minute, but yeah.
So Your
There's
Name also has like a time traveling element to it, if
there's
you
no
recall
time
that one.
traveling in this.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Um like I bought Your Name on PlayStation years ago. I think I watched it then,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like it's kind of like yeah, yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
It's like Your Name. I think it's the same director.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, I think they're like Suzume and Your Name. That's the same director. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Suzume or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to say that name, because like I'm tired of butchering it. But it's been kind of weird. But I'm like I said, I'm watching it in dub, and but it's cool. Like it's cute and it's kind of sweet, but it's also just kind of wild. And there's some like just like absolutely stunning visuals. Like just like I think what's so kind of like cool about that is like there is you know how sometimes like anime can get like a little sloppy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of like really current anime gets like kind of sloppy, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind that. Like I don't mind it, but like there is such like it reminds me very much to like the quality level, like, and it was, I think it was probably this way in Your Name as well, but like there's like a very high like quality level of quality bar with this
Mm-hmm.
film. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like Miyazaki level. It's not like Studio Ghibli
Sure.
level, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very good. And it's like I could just really love that attention to detail and everything else. So like,
Yeah.
but it's on. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I'm not done with it yet, but like it's just I do like this sort of formula where it's like it's a boy meets girl, but
Mm-hmm.
like with a wrinkle, with like a weird kind of like supernatural or like metaphysically bizarre twist.
Mhm.
I do like that. There's something very, very charming and kind of wholesome and also a little insane about all of that, and I love it.
Mhm.
Um, so,
Nice.
but yeah, so, but yeah,
That's cool. That's cool.
it is cool.
Suzume. Nice. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I know I'm watching it on Netflix, but I don't
Okay.
know where. I don't know if it's anywhere else. I have not gone back to. I have not finished Garth Marenghi's Dark Place yet.
Uh-huh.
But did you check that out at all?
I did. I did actually. Yeah.
What did you think
And
of it?
that dude, I was watching it and Sam is like, "What the heck are you watching? Like, what even is this?" And
which
I'm
is
like,
the correct response.
"But I mean, sure, but it's also very like it's very tongue in cheek. Like it's a clear satire, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's in and that like if you don't understand that, then yeah, it's even weirder. But like that's why it's so
Like
weird
if
is because it's a
someone were to
satire.
walk in
But it's
that in like mid
hilarious.
episode and
Yeah.
watch it in earnest, it's insane.
Okay, but I will also say, yes, this is a very clear satire, but it's probably the closest thing to Twin Peaks that I've ever seen. Because it has a similar feel in some ways. Like obviously this is way over the top, but there are some odd like soap opera-y things in Twin Peaks that I'm just like, are they trying to be serious? I can't tell. Where this just goes full on like, no, it's not trying. Like, oh my goodness, when the boss there's like a clear cut or he like looks over to read his lines or something, like that stuff is so funny. He acting like he can't act, which is yeah, hilarious. But then it's also like super gory at times. Just weird and unhinged. No, I think it's great. Yeah, great recommendation.
It's
Um
like what's the like I'm here for the doctor's job. That's great. We'll have you start immediately, you know. And then there's like a full minute of just awkward ah, and it just goes on.
so
And it's
strange.
like I'm not
Oh,
exaggerating. It's like a minute
yeah.
of people just like yeah. Oh.
And all throughout the show, the woman is just a punching bag. Like,
um
just like, get me a coffee. Oh, I can barely walk, like, oh, it's so, yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. Darth Marenghi's
did you watch all of
Garth
it?
Marenghi. No, I think I have an episode or two left. I didn't
I'm
finish all
pretty
of it.
sure it's one of the last episodes has like sort of like a mock music video kind of montage thing in it
Uh-huh.
that is excellent. Like
Okay.
it is
Okay.
just like it is so like I actually well and that's the clip that got me to go back and watch it because it's like the 80s song that should have existed but didn't like in real like it's like one of those
Okay.
things like when you hear it you're like holy crap. It's just like yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
such it's just schlocky and dumb and I love it.
Yeah.
Um but it's like it's also sort of like it's that British humor. It reminds me of
Right.
Spaced a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Spaced is a little more coherent, right? Like Garth
Mhm.
Marenghi's Dark Place is just like fever dream,
Yes.
but Spaced is like it's a little insane, but it's like it doesn't. Garth Marenghi's like yeah, Garth Marenghi's like it's just like it's just total spoof the whole
Mhm.
time. You're just like, this is insane. But
Yeah.
like Spaced is like it's just got a bit like a little bit more realism to it. Like it's a
Mhm.
little more grounded or something. But yeah, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. It is something.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think it's
It
I,
certainly is
I
something.
think it's like it's kind of delightful
Mhm.
in an absolutely unhinged way.
Yes. Yeah. But clearly unhinged. Yeah. I agree.
Oh, clearly unhinged.
I
Massively
agree.
unhinged. Like but it's sort of like that train wreck that sort of invites you to sort of just join us as we just go completely off the rails.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, and
but
it's very much like they do a really good job of portraying this person who is obsessed with himself and his writing and then writing himself in as the main character It's just it's done very well. Even though it's done poorly, I'm trying to think of the right way to say that.
Well, it's
Like
done poorly on purpose, and
exactly.
in that execution, it's masterful.
Yeah, because you
Like
get actors to act poorly on
on
purpose,
purpose,
which
they act like they
frankly,
can't
that's got to be
act.
hard.
And
Yeah,
David,
yeah,
and so here's the thing, like the David Ayoade, or however you say his
hmm
name, like
yeah,
that's kind of what he did. Like he's kind of does like the same shtick in just like everything, but
yeah,
he's so good at kind of playing like this, like ham-fisted nitwit
yeah,
that it's like he's delightful.
yeah.
So
It's a good one. It's a good one. I like it.
I'm glad
Thank
that
you for the
you've enjoyed
recommendation.
it.
I
Yes,
have. Yeah.
yes, that's I'm glad that that one that like that sort of reco actually landed, because like
hmm
I was a little nervous. I was like
Oh.
sometimes,
Oh
because like
man.
here's the thing, I like weird stuff, and I know
Yeah.
that I like weird stuff, and that's like one of those things like that's on the fringe, and I was like, I
hmm
think Josh might be like, he might be primed for this, but I like, if he doesn't like this, I'm gonna feel bad, because it's like
Because it's so weird.
it's so weird. Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, cool. So,
Nice.
like, listen, folks, if you like weird stuff and
Mm.
you have a sense of humor similar to Josh and I's,
hmm
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place on Amazon Prime is
hmm
an unhinged fever dream delight.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
And
but yeah, I mean, I've been into some other things like dabbling. I did. Okay. So, like, one thing, and I'm going to hate admitting this,
oh,
like but
and here you are doing
I
it
was
into
talking
a
to a
microphone.
coworker. Now this is
Mhm.
like, and I haven't actually listened to it yet, but I was talking to a coworker, and we were talking about Dostoevsky, and I was just like,
Okay. Yeah.
like I was just kind of like rolling my eyes, as I want to do, because I'm a Tolstoy man. Like
Okay.
like
Okay.
any right thinking man, I'm a Tolstoy guy. Um, but he said, listen, he's like, Crime and Punishment is really, really good. He's
Yeah.
like, you should probably, and it's been a long time since I've read it. Um, And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go back. And like, now that I have an appreciation for Russian lit,
hmm
I'm going to do this. And then well, actually, I might do Brothers Karamazov
Okay.
first, or Karamazov or whatever,
Yeah.
first, because that's like Crime and Punishment is basically like sort of like his, like, that's like his magnum opus in a lot of ways, from what I understand, just like War and Peace was Tolstoy's. And I haven't read Tolstoy's. I haven't read War and Peace yet. So it's
Okay.
like, if I'm going to read one's like master, like Anna Karenina is brilliant, and just
hmm
like, I just think it's. But anyways, so I'm probably gonna listen to the brothers K,
hmm
and then, um, like I said, eventually go through War and Peace, and then Crime and Punishment.
Nice. Nice.
But
Where
yeah,
where would you recommend? So I've only read Dostoevsky. I have not read Tolstoy. Where would you recommend I start with Tolstoy?
Anna Karenina.
Okay. Okay.
And get the Vronsky and Pavir translation.
Okay.
That's the one that I read. That came from a recommendation from one of the guys that used to be on the Bookening, and I really like that translation. It's a little drier, like it's a little more like, apparently, like it's like some of the text is like translated a little more literally sometimes,
Okay.
but I think to pretty great effect. Um, like Russian lit is, yeah, that's the Anna Karenina, the Vronsky Pavir, or yeah, Pavir translation. So
Okay. Nice.
I've read some of his other stuff too, but I just think Anna Karenina is better. Like
Okay.
I've gone back since then, and I've read some other things, but, or sometimes listened to some other things, but I just think Anna Karenina is kind of the best. Has like a really great cast. It's sad. Um,
Okay. You wait. This is Russian literature we're talking about?
Yeah.
It doesn't end happily?
No.
Oh, wow. That's
I know,
weird.
shocker. The Russians, the Rus,
Yeah.
they're so upbeat and optimistic.
Usually, yeah, it just ends with a wedding and everything.
Yeah.
It's a comedy.
Nobody ever
by the end of it.
dies.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
No, but yeah,
Or is drunk the entire time,
I
spending all
don't
their
think.
family's money.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Anyways, I'm just, but yeah, no, I really like Anna Karenina. I think, it's kind of like one of those things that, like, now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, I just kind of want to go back instead of listening or reading
Sure. Yeah.
Brothers. Like, I just want to go back and read Anna Karenina now.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I will, like, so it's on my docket at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sweet.
yeah, Dostoevsky's okay. Yeah, I've read some of his essays and stuff. He didn't land for me the way that Tolstoy did.
Okay.
So, but I mean, they've got very similar voices because it's
Okay.
they are the preeminent Russian lit dudes.
Sure.
So, like, they kind of defined that thing, and are really the only significant prominent examples as far as I understand. So yeah.
Well, in the anime Monster, but we don't have to talk about that.
Shut
do you have
up.
any?
Do
you have anything else that you have to report on?
Oh, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight now. All right, horse girl.
All right. So, yeah, I guess that's what we've been into lately. Now, we've got some video games to talk about. That's kind of our main topic here.
But I think we should. Well, I think we should take a little bit of a break.
Okay. Then.
And so.
Yeah. Before we take a break, we hope you've been enjoying what we've been doing, what we've been up to, and we hope you'll check out some of our friends as well. We're part of the Playwell Network, and you should check out what they're doing at playwellnetwork.com. Or if you like what we're doing, we'd appreciate it if you do some sharing, do some caring, like the video, thumbs up, share, do all that fun stuff. Leave a rating and a review if you like the podcast. We'd appreciate all those things. But if you want to go a little bit above and beyond, we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/the Backlog Breakdown, where for as little as $1 a month, you get some perks there. You get some early and uncut access to all of our recordings that we do. You get a special role in our Discord, and you get to pick a game or a topic that we may talk about in the coming year. So that's a lot of fun, some stuff there. But just think of it as a tip jar. If you enjoy what we do, that's there available for you. Some other things that we think you should support is one of our friends has an album remix coming up, but he's got a few words on that. So let's hear from him now.
Hey, this is the Techno Funk Boy. 10 years ago, I released the Final Fantasy mixes. These were 10 high-energy tracks that have remained, even after a decade, some of my most popular songs ever. After 10 years, I want to come back to this recording and create an even better version to live on for years to come. That is why I'm doing the 10th anniversary remasters that will include 1 or 2 extra tracks, as well as, for the first time ever, a physical release. But I need your help to do this. I've started a Kickstarter in order to get the backing I need to get the physical release and brand new cover art to go with this project. You can learn more at technofunkboy.com/ffmix. That's technofunkboy.com/ffmix.
And we're back. All right, folks.
We're back.
So here's the thing. If you have listened to the show for any amount of time, you may notice that something was lacking from the front half. And that's because we're gonna
It's missing.
deal with it in the back half, kind of, sort of. But yeah, but I think, Josh, a fair place to sort
Mhm.
of start is, and maybe to sort of kick this off is, how's your backlog score looking, guy?
Oh yeah. So if you're talking about the beatdown score,
Yes, the
I'm
beatdown score. Yes,
currently at a
you
total
know,
of -4. Yeah.
we are like the sort of like one of the we are part of like the authorship of this thing, and
hmm
we have heralded it and shepherded it and stewarded it,
hmm
and I forgot what it was called.
Cultivated it.
Like, yeah, we have done all these things
hmm
to enrich it,
hmm
and I used the wrong word.
That's okay. I was mainly asking just for clarification's sake because
No,
the way the
you're
meta
doing it to
works.
shame me because I'm feeble-minded and
Yes,
old
yes.
and weak.
90 or 39 or 36 lashes with the shame whip. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But just
I don't
feel
know
the
what you
shame,
were saying to
okay?
begin with. Yeah, that was just like all nonsensical.
Self-flagellation, with the 39 lashes is what it's supposed to be. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. But the reason I asked for the clarification was simply because, the way the meta works, you can get more or less points depending on the games. So the amount of games. So talking like in total for 2025 so far, here we stand in the middle of March, getting towards the end of March already, which is crazy. Is I'm 5 games down for the year. I have a
Okay.
total score of -4 in the beatdown meta because I've also picked up 2 games. One of the games that I've beaten so far is a long game, so I got a bonus there.
Ooh.
So that comes out to, so I'm sitting at a -4.
Oh,
I
you
haven't changed
fancy.
since our previous recording. But at my current pace for the year, since I'm 5 games in, I think that I'm doing decently well in that I would like to finish at least 2 games a month, and I am on par for my 2 games a month so far because I'm kind of rounding the corner on one of the games that I'm playing. So that's where I'm sitting right now, is -4 for the beatdown.
Cool. I'm pulling up my GG app, the
Mm-hmm.
official app of the Backlog Breakdown.
Hey.
Why do I do the things that I do? Okay. So the way that it's looking right now is
Mm-hmm.
I've got four games down so far
Okay.
this
Yeah.
year.
Nice.
Actually, 5 because there's an addition. I did, but I've got to talk. I've got to actually. I haven't updated it in the Discord or on GG, but so far, Remnant 2 and the DLCs, 2 of the DLCs for Remnant. The Forgotten Kingdom, and then what was the other one? Who are you? The Dark Horizon. But then I abandoned the Talos Principle. So there's 4 games, and then Parker and I actually sat down and we carved out some co-op time not too long ago playing the Evil West.
Nice.
And that's that was a lot of fun. It's very much like a 360 era PS3 kind of action shootery kind of game thing. It's got it's very tropey, very sort of very video gamey. It has kind of the combat system takes a little bit to get into and get used to, but once you do, it's a pretty compelling loop. It's a lot of like navigation, and then you have like sort of a combat arena, and then more navigation than a combat arena. And it's pretty good. It's kind of like arcadey, and it's just fun. Like it's it is very much not for the faint of heart. It's a story about cowboys that hunt vampires, and it's kind of very gory, very schlocky. Like there's some swears, but it's like it's a fun game. It's a good game, in that sense. Like, it's not like an 8. It's not like a must play. It doesn't even verge on like being a really strong should play. It's like listen, I think I got it for free through PS Plus.
Okay.
And so if you have it and you're even slightly at all interested, I think it's worth a burn. And it's not long. It's not long.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was tempted to like sort of go back through and sort of like do some solo work and sort of like play it on a harder difficulty. And then I was like, I ain't nobody got time for this. Like, I like
Yeah.
the game, but I didn't like it that much,
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
um, so that would have put me back to -3 because I had picked up Dark Tide the other day.
Okay.
But then I got an itch because
Uh-oh.
our buddy, a patron, and one of our friends, Isaac, was talking about how he had played Far Cry Primal, right?
Hmm.
And he was describing, and the way he described it, I forget what it. Like, man, I should go back but like the descriptor he gave of his in-game experience was so compelling. He talked about basically like it's a caveman simulator, and he hallucinated because apparently he ate some toads or whatever, and he got
Okay. As you do.
like,
Yeah.
and then like he got peed on by something, or like it was just weird.
Oh.
Like it was like the description he gave, like not weird, but it was like the description he gave was like, okay, like this is kind of like my unhinged lunacy that like I could like get into. It's a caveman simulator, so it's like you
Nice.
basically live in like a prehistoric Far Cry 3 map, and so I was like, I liked Far Cry 3. I liked the Far Cry games in theory. Um,
Hmm.
I've really enjoyed a few of them, but I haven't played the later ones. But like the way
Okay.
he described it was like, like listen, I'm down. Like, oh no, he ate some mushrooms, and then that caused like he was foraging. He ate some mushrooms in the forest, and that caused him to hallucinate. And then he got into a fight, and like caught
With a
him
toad who
with
peed on him.
the toad peed on him or something like
Yeah.
that. It was
Because you
like,
pick him up and they just, yeah.
yeah, it was something weird, and I was just like, what? And so, yeah, I thought that was awesome. I was like, that sounds like my kind of like my brand of insanity. And it was $8, and I had $10 in PSN credit, so I
Oh,
picked it
nice.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, picked up Far Cry Primal, which takes me back down to 2.
Mm.
I mean, I'm still chugging along, and dude, like the further, and I'm gonna save our thoughts for when we do the episode. But
Hmm.
Dishonored has been a delight. Like I was kind of like,
Okay.
I feel like I've been waffling. I was like, do I want to just beat it? And it's like I get in, and I do like I maybe split like a mission or a chapter over like a couple playthroughs, and it's just like it's just cool. It's
Yeah.
just so cool. There's something, okay. So like you're playing like, yes, the Lord Bodyguard, the Corvo, the Empress's bodyguard, Lord Corvo. And
Hmm.
so but then you get like these, like you can like teleport, and you can get like special powers, and I'm just like, oh. And I am trying to do like a no or a low chaos run, because like you can, if you just go through and like just run and gun, because you can play it that way, and like you just run around, stab dudes, like assassinating, like you can do that, but it's like it yields higher chaos. But I'm trying to have
Hmm.
like a lower chaos run.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's just like it does that sort of like those immersive sims. They have like this level where it's like it really is like just multiple paths to different things, and that's
Hmm.
sort of like that is so much fun. Like the one mission I was just doing, like I had tried pretty unsuccessfully to like go in through the ground level on this. I was trying to get into a house or a facility or something, and
Sure. Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna kind of like basically go through the front door and like kind of sneak through and just like knock people out, because that's what I do. And then I was like, I tried a couple times, and it's just like it just never really worked out the way that I wanted it to. So what I
Okay.
ended up doing is just I was like, okay, I'm gonna look around, and I saw this platform like at the top of towards the top of the building. I was like, can I get to that platform? And sure enough, Like I did some jumping around and climbing and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I can get to that platform. And so I got to that platform, and then I was able to sort of like get to my target. Like, and I was like, I feel so dumb, but also like so smart because like I did figure it out. It just took me forever and a day to do it.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like I threw myself in the meat grinder like a dozen times, and then it was like, hey, what if I do this? And it was like, and then I go up and I go, boop, hey, there we go, let's go. So, yeah, it's a delightful game, but yeah, like I said, I have more thoughts on that.
Mhm.
Trying to think. Yeah, I'm pulling up my notes here just to.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just been Dishonored, Astrobot, Dark Tide, Snap. I was telling you like I'm so close to getting Snap, like our Infinite this season.
Mhm.
But and I have thoughts on Snap, and Logan and I might do some recording here in the
Mhm.
imminent future, and if we do, I want to
Ah.
save those for that.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
yeah, just haven't really been able to, but I think that's been the thing is like, and sort of what we were talking about is like I haven't really, well, one, and I wasn't feeling well, and like when I'm sick,
Mhm.
I don't really like playing video games all that
Yeah.
much. Like
Yeah.
it's like I'm sick. I don't like doing anything. Like I'm just like I want to be as passive as possible when I'm sick. And
Yeah.
so it's like I kind of got like a head cold and then sort of like things with Byron and everything else. So yeah. But but yeah, it's just kind of like it's just been a season, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I feel you. Yeah, especially even just being tired. And here's where I kind of bring up the whole thyroid thing is like, yeah, I feel you a lot. Unfortunately, there are times where I'm like, okay, I could make some progress. At the end of the day, kind of thing. Kids are
yeah.
down, whatever. And I'm like, I could make some progress while I'm sitting here just watching TV with my wife. But I don't really feel like it. Yeah, I feel more like just kind of sitting here and enjoying the moment, not putting another thing in front of me, in
Or
front of the screen that I'm already watching.
or sometimes like before I forget. So yeah, my total beatdown score is -2. I don't
Mhm.
know if I actually said that or not.
Yeah,
So yeah, there you go. Like I'm super with it. Like that just shows how with it and put together we are and I am. But no, dude, there's even like times where it's like last night I put him down and I fell asleep while I was putting him to bed.
hmm
Because that happens sometimes.
for
And
sure.
when I woke up, it was like almost 10 o'clock, and I just came downstairs and just went to bed.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it was like, hey, you want to hang out and talk for a little bit, and I just went straight to bed. I was just like, no, like
No
I'm
doubt.
like I've got nothing at this point. I'm like nothing in the tank. So
Mhm.
yeah, no, it's and I think like it's just like yeah. So I'm not quite at the I'm not quite echoing like the 3 games or 2 games a month that you've been
Mhm.
hitting. But I might round like I'm probably gonna get Dishonored done by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Um, and actually I think I'm gonna tee up. I've kind of been eyeballing Astral Chain,
Okay. Sweet.
so I think that's gonna be my next patron pick. And it's
Yeah.
like I think that's the other thing is like I'm enjoying all of it. Like when I play, I
Mhm.
have a good time. But it's like getting into that. I'm also like so it's like we fired up we had her sister and the nephew and the nieces and her brother-in-law and Dennis, her stepdad, came over and we were all hanging out. We got some pizza. We got Sal's Pizza, which is like, if you ever come out to Johnstown, right?
Mhm.
I hope Sal's is still around because it is like, it's just like, it's not, I think their cheese and pepperoni pizza, like
Mhm.
just like, like basic pizza,
Yeah.
some of the best pizza in town, might be the best pizza in
Nice.
town, period. And it's like kind of cheap too. Like you can get like We got 4 extra large pies for like $50.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
like
Dude.
12, $13 a pop, kind of
Yeah.
that territory. I was like, yo, this is sick.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I ate like half a pepperoni by myself that night.
Nice.
And they're Catholic, so they ate like cheese, and we got a veggie.
Okay.
So they got some.
Okay.
They ate some
Yeah.
cheese and some veggie. And Byron was doing like work on the veggie pizza, dude.
Ah,
He's eating.
nice.
He's eating
Mhm.
like, and we think he's going through a bit of a growth spurt because like he
Okay.
is always
Going
eating.
for it. Yeah.
Dude, he came over tonight. He ate 2 granola bars today, and then he was
Mhm.
asking me to open a third one. I was like, dude, like, no, you can. And he
Slow
ate all
down.
of his supper. Like he ate a full
Okay.
bowl
Yeah.
of like supper. And I was just like, what, kid? Like, yeah. But anyways,
Nice.
yeah, it's just like, and I think too, like, part of it is like, I'm trying to get together with a friend from church here to potentially like smoke a cigar. And
Yeah.
even if I can't smoke the cigar, I'll go out and I'll hang out and I'll have a cocktail or maybe a whiskey or something with them. But yeah,
Sure.
it's like I'm just kind of like in a mode where like I'm in kind of like I'm okay. Yeah, It's
Yeah.
like, and it's just it's, and especially where Byron's at, it's just tough
Right.
because like if he's up, you know, it, I like if he's up, I like spending time with him. It's kind
Right.
of like fun to spend time with him, but it's also like you also kind of have to because he's a freaking 2-year-old, and it's like he
kind
gets
of have to keep tabs on him. Yeah.
yeah, they get quiet and I get nervous. Like I'm like, what are you doing?
Yep. Yep. Like, wait, I haven't heard you. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't heard
I
you
feel
in
you.
like 30 seconds. Okay, where are you?
Something's going on. Yep. Yep.
So,
Exactly. I totally get that. Yeah. It's, that's just kind of I say season of life. I guess it's been there for a while, but yeah, there's just not as much time for me to play kind of a single player experience. And I say that there are moments, you mentioned it earlier, on my elliptical, I get some handheld time in if I decide that I don't want to read. So I've been trying to read more, and I've been doing that on the elliptical, which has been nice. So outside of that, when I want to, I'll either read or play on a handheld device primarily while I'm on the elliptical. So that gets me a little bit of time. Outside of that, it's just become harder to find some time to play certain things. So if it's like during the day, then it has to be a game that is, for the most part, I say has to. I suppose I could play it on my laptop, but for the most part, one that's a bit more family friendly because I've got 3 kids. Our oldest is 9. Our daughter she'll be 8. Wow, she is 7. She'll be 8 here in May, and then we have a 4-year-old who will be 5 in July. So it just because of that, they always kind of want to see what I'm doing, and so if I'm playing something, they'll want to watch, and so I can't play anything, hyper violent or anything like that. That's not
you can't play the
cartoony.
good stuff.
Well, yeah. I guess it kind of just depends. So something like what we talked about on the previous episode, the Talos principle was totally fine, and my son was into it. Like he enjoyed watching that game as we kind of figured some stuff out. So that one was a little easier. I haven't tried. I still haven't started Dishonored. I need to. And so I don't know how violent that is going to be. I mean, I know obviously there are kills in it, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see about that one. But yeah, so it just depends on that. I do find that I do more kind of, not so much single player for the most part for during the day, but as my kids are interested, it's kind of like the single player games that I am playing in front of them. I'll want them to like either they'll be so curious that they kind of want to join in, help out or just, watch. And so it becomes a bit more communal than
Mhm.
just kind of me playing my game. So then the only time where that happens, they're few and far between kind of moments if the kids and Sam are out. Doesn't happen very often. But then it's the end of the day. And then it's kind of a toss up of, okay, I want to spend time with my wife because I don't get, it's the kids are always around. So we don't really get very much time.
Mhm.
So then are we going to, watch TV together? Do we have things that we need to talk about? Is it going to be rude for me to pull out the Switch or something like that
Mm.
while we're trying to hang out, So most of the time I don't, unless she's got something that she needs to do, sometimes things like that happen. So it's just become fewer and farther between. And I think added on to this is, and I don't want to make, again, I kind of making a big deal out of it, but I don't mean to make too big of a deal
Your
out of it. Is like,
hypothyroidism.
right. Exactly. It's like, okay, this is why I'm tired a lot of the time. And again, hopefully just by being more diligent and taking vitamins and supplements, that'll help that out so that I have a bit more energy, and not just constantly like drinking. It might explain my overconsumption of coffee throughout,
How much coffee do
most
you
of the day.
drink a day, do you think?
I mean, okay, so baseline is 2 cups. But there are some
Like
days
2
where
8-ounce
I just
cups or,
continue.
like, more than 8 ounces?
No.
Like 12 ounce,
Yeah,
like
it's more
12 to
like 12 to
16?
16.
Okay.
Yeah, would be one. Yeah. Yeah, I would say if I make it at home, it's probably going to be that 12 ounce. It just depends where I am. Cause if I'm at work, like we have coffee there up at the church that I can
Mhm.
make. I've got an AeroPress up there as well. And then if there's any groups that are meeting, they'll have some left over. We had a Bible study this morning, so we make a few pots of it. And so I'm drinking it all morning. So, I probably had 4, 5 cups but that would be 8 ounce, you know? So I'm just constantly drinking it because it's there,
Yeah,
and then maybe a soda in the afternoon.
I just read somewhere that they're, like, basically much more than 400 milligrams of caffeine or whatever they're just like, "Yeah, but you probably should avoid, like, much
Yeah.
more than that."
Yeah.
And I'm like that's like, I'm pretty sure I hit that window almost every day.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, that has, like, I'm like, I want to, like, I've scaled back on, like, I try not to drink an energy drink every day. I
Okay.
try.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, but, yeah, we've caught, like, what triggered this was actually yesterday, Sunday. I got dude, listen, Starbucks is Starbucks, but they
Mhm.
have a nitro cold brew with vanilla sweet cream
Yeah.
that is out of this world. Just
Yeah.
like,
And it's not too sweet either. Yeah, that one's
no,
pretty good.
yeah, it's so good. It's like one of my favorite things. And I got one of those yesterday and I was like, holy crap, this is so good. Like, this is so stinking good. And I was really enjoying it. Um, and then I was like, how much caffeine does it have? And that's when I went down the rabbit hole. It's like, well, you should only have about 400 milligrams or whatever. And this has like 210 or
Yeah.
250. I was like, sick.
Ah,
And I
yeah.
was like, well, no energy drink for me today.
Yeah.
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 Which is fine. But it's like, yeah, I probably like pretty easily hit. It would not surprise me to find out like I hit 400 to 500 milligrams or whatever
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
So,
For sure. For sure. And I can feel kind of the arc of it, if
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's just a default that I have it in the morning, whether it kind of depends. If I wake up and I'm like really groggy and I have a little bit of time, then I'll just make a cup here as I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting ready for stuff. But if I'm not groggy or I have a shorter window of time, then I'll just leave and then have coffee while I'm at work, kind of a thing.
I have a cup almost no, I have a cup every morning pretty much.
Mhm.
Whether or not it's at home or like sometimes if like we're out of coffee, I'll just leave a little early and I'll go get like a cup from Starbucks or something.
Sure. Yeah.
but yeah, I that's like that is the one like constant is that I have probably about 12 ounces of hot coffee or just coffee in general every morning.
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
don't have that, then then the struggle bus is boarded. It's waiting. It's at
Yes.
the station.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
later on, probably, and that's at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then probably about 10:30, 11, like about lunchtime, I usually crack open an energy drink. And the ones that I've been on lately have about 200 milligrams of caffeine.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're punchy.
Mm-hmm.
They're throwing me. So it's like I said, and then sometimes, like if I have an energy energy drink, um, earlier in the day, I try not to have a soda at night,
Yeah.
but sometimes
Yeah.
I still have the soda.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. All that to say, I do feel kind of the come down from it, if that makes sense.
oh
Like
yeah,
I will feel the crash is what it is. And so depending, and I try to cut off, at least I try to cut off coffee consumption, around lunchtime, especially if I have a later lunch. But yeah, I'll usually have a soda or something in the
yeah.
afternoon. We'll see.
I'll have
But
like soda in the evening, afternoon, but I think it's like anything after 7. Like
yeah.
aside from like I had a soda right before we started recording,
Sure,
but
because we tend to go long.
but,
Yes.
but even that is like and soda doesn't hit me the way that like if I had sucked down the energy drink, I wouldn't be
Mhm.
sleeping for another few hours. But like here
Yeah,
I'm like we've been recording for a few hours and I'm starting to flag. Like
sure.
and I can feel like that caffeine sort of like already losing some of its potency.
Mhm. Yep.
Like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sure part of it's getting older.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
having kids plays into that as well. But did want to talk just a little bit about, what it looks like still trying to be focused on, at least for me, primarily on my backlog, and these patron picks and things like that. And as I've kind of, worked at mapping out what the year looks like, just wanted to see, how we're doing so far. And overall, like the quantity of games has been good. I've shifted a little bit. So my strategy is a little, it's been working well, but it's kind of a three-pronged strategy of that. There are games that fit into this single player, the rarer kind of games for me to play would be like the Talos Principle, although again that one I could play at least in front of the kids, so long as I had time to do that, I could do that. There's that section where it's single player experiences in front of some sort of like a home console. In that case, it's my laptop. That's how I'm going to play Dishonored as well. That's a single category. And then the other category would be handheld, primarily Switch games. And then the final category that I wanted to talk about as well for me is, I don't know that I've said this on the main podcast, but I have a handheld emulation machine that looks like a Game Boy Advance SP. And I got this thing. It's just it's a cheap Chinese thing, but I say that it's inexpensive, but it feels pretty good. And I've loaded some games onto it that are games that I've had on my backlog. So a few of the games that I've tackled this year so far, primarily Ninja Gaiden, and then also Willow. They were original Nintendo games, and I'm playing them on this handheld so that I can play it on the go. So if I have a spare few
Yeah.
minutes, I don't have to, plug in a Nintendo Entertainment System to a CRT TV. Also, it has some conveniences like save states, and it has a speed up function, which I did use through some of Willow. Didn't use on Ninja Gaiden because that would just be insane.
You would want it to go the other way, actually.
Right, exactly. Yeah, for some of the parts that are there. And so that has really helped me in because I use it to play backlog games, but in a more convenient form. And so, like, with those between those three, I can kind of slot my games in to these different ones. The other kind of consideration that I've been using is how long these games are. So the longest game that I finished is when I had the bite-sized episode on it, the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2 record breaker. That one, I put in over 40 hours for that one. It was somewhere between 40 to 50, maybe around that 45 area. But I had started that one at the end of last year. It did take me longer than I had anticipated. And frankly, even the game that I'm playing now that I've been focusing on for a little bit, Pokemon Legends Arceus, I've already, I want to say I've hit the 20-hour mark. I think it was at like 22 hours so far. I am kind of rounding the corner on that one, getting towards the end, but not done with it yet. And so it's another one where it's like, okay, I did think I'd be a bit farther along. I do kind of have to pick up the pace. So that's how I choose what games to play next. You mentioned how, like, hey, I'm doing pretty well on the amount of games that I've beaten so far for the year. Well, that's also taking into account that, again, games like Ninja Gaiden and Willow are much, much shorter than a lot of games nowadays. Although most of the games that I want to play this year are shorter, most of them, there are a few outliers. And so that's what I want to be mindful of and kind of slot them into their proper kind of areas. Because if it is a long game that I have to sit down and dedicate myself to, that's going to take quite a bit longer than something I can play on a handheld or something that I can play, in fits and spurts, because that's kind of where most of my game time comes from nowadays is that's just wherever I can find it. Because frankly, there are other responsibilities that I have that sometimes when I have a bit of free time, I want to get caught up on some other things, some other responsibilities. I need to prep some of the kids' school or meal prep or something, get some other things done instead of
And that's
just
like
focusing
that.
on that.
That's also part of it, though, is that, like, we're still pretty hip deep in recuperation mode, where it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we have had like something rolling through the house pretty much nonstop for the last like 2-3 months,
Right.
and we're kind of at a point where it's like, okay, like you enter into this, like, okay, we're existing, but like a lot of stuff isn't getting done the way that it needs to be done. And so
Mm-hmm.
now you're sort of writing that plate, like you're writing that a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and that just requires like less game time. That requires you have to, like, yeah, it's like, we've got to really prioritize maybe like spending like half hour 45 to maybe even an hour a night, sort of getting things back to like sort of an acceptable state.
Yep.
Like, we're gonna, I think one of the things though too is like, like we're not really big on, like, we don't have like a lot of routines or rhythms. Like we just
Okay.
like, if things need done, they need done.
Sure.
But I think we are going to, like, we talked about it, and I think just possibly we're just gonna like transition, like Wednesday nights are just gonna become laundry night. Like all the laundry is gonna come out.
Mm.
We're gonna sort it. We're gonna work through it together, and like it's just, that's what we're gonna do for a few hours. It doesn't mean that we won't be able to do other things, but it's like everything will sort of revolve around that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Nice. That is ambitious to me. Trying to do it
Well,
all in one night.
Well, and even if you don't get it all done, like, you can
Sure.
put a pretty sizable dent
Yeah.
in it, like, doing it for just, a few hours, and it's like, wash, fold. So we'll see. We'll see. Like, if I remember, we can talk about it, when we come back.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think that's like, that's definitely been part of the fugue, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, sort of on my end, is it, it's just like, there's just a bunch of stuff, you know, like, yeah. And that's just like, I think just as a general rule, we need to get, like, my family, we need to get better at just kind of carving that out. And especially as
Okay.
Byron gets older. Like I told you, he's parroting a lot of things where like
Mm-hmm.
he's really echoing a lot of words. Um and he has some like play toys. Like we bought him like a little broom and stuff. And so he'll just like pretend to help sometimes when you're like cleaning
Nice.
up. But so yeah. But yeah, I mean that's just like I plan on, I think I'm gonna wrap up Dishonored here pretty shortly, and I think I'm gonna tee up Astral Chain after that.
Sweet.
But I do think after I knock out Dishonored, I'm probably gonna try and prioritize Astrobot just to sort of like tick one off. Like, I think if I can sort of like that rhythm, tick one off of each list
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
that'll feel pretty good. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. I've already started in on my next short little backlog game, which is Contra 3, the Alien Wars. I've had a Super Nintendo Mini, one of those little mini consoles,
Yeah.
for a long time, and it was on there. So now I've got it on my little handheld. And man, it is a different experience because I don't want to, use a ton of save states in order to beat it. And the game really is a lot about memorization. It's a crazy game in general. I mean, it's if you know the original
No,
Contra.
those games are just like it is about remembering where the enemies spawn when they come
Mhm.
through. Like, yeah.
But this one is like it is. We use this term a lot, but unhinged. Just some of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that happens. It is like I mean, Expendables, just like from one explosion to another explosion to, hanging over fires because the whole city has exploded to then like you're on top of a helicopter
And it
while
gets
an alien's attacking you. Just insanity
doesn't that
the
one get like
entire
a lot
time.
more almost like bullet helly too? Like there's like a lot more action on the screen. Am I remembering that correctly?
I mean, there is a lot going on, but like the original Contra, I mean, it's like one hit kills. So, I haven't gotten very far. So maybe
Okay.
it does eventually even more so, but you can die just like that from a
Well,
stray bullet.
yeah.
So
Contra is just like one of those series that up, down, left, right, BA, select.
yeah,
Give me them 99 lives.
yeah, yeah, and just have a like very arcadey feeling.
Yeah.
Just a fun little playthrough. So. But it's a blast. But it will like it's a short game. It's gonna take me a little while just to get a feel for it to memorize some patterns and really kind of make some progress in it. But there's that as well. Do you one last question? Kind
Mm-hmm.
of before we wrap it up is just as you look forward to the rest of the year. Do you see anything changing? Or are you expecting like, no, this is pretty much the amount of time that I can dedicate towards kind of the games that I have right now?
I mean, so in November, I have I managed to take most of November off, and so there's going to
Okay.
be a fairly open chunk of time. And I think maybe sort of this summer when Megan's home all the time and stuff, like they'll still want to do stuff in the evenings, but like
Hmm.
maybe that might free up sort of more leisure time
Hmm.
in the sense where it's like, at that point in time, like it'll be more like, hey, like, you're going to take care, like I'm going to take care of like the lawn and stuff like that. And so that's going to
Right.
cut, but it's like, in theory, it might free up more time. So
Okay.
maybe,
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. It's just like right now, because like, here's the thing is like with the route, the way that the route works now, it's like I'm home in 8 hours most days. Like today,
That's awesome.
I was today I took about 45 minutes of overtime, maybe a little bit longer, but you know, but that's the exception. That's not no longer the rule.
Hmm.
And I'm not mad about the overtime. Especially if I have to do any sort of half serious repairs to my car.
No, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, so we'll see. Cause like there's some
Mhm.
there's some stuff at the church that I need to take care of. I need to get on it sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
So like, yeah, there's just like, you know, trying to keep up with everything. Like we'll see. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not super optimistic, you know,
Mhm.
in saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna. But like, you know, you never know what kind of like window is gonna open up, what kind of pocket's gonna open up, and yeah. So it just
Yeah.
this feels like kind of like the most sustainable,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Or sort of. How about
I
you? Like
agree.
your thoughts
I
on this?
tend to always be like, oh, well, you know, it's an exception because this week, because this happened and this happened, you know, or we, you know, we ended up getting sick or something like that. Sometimes a bit of that is true, but I find more often than not, okay, but those exceptions always happen, whether it's in the form of sickness or it's in the form of, you know, I need to change the oil in my cars, or yeah, I need to mow my lawn, or it's something, you know,
Yeah,
or shovel the driveway, you know, like there's always more that needs to be done. So yeah, I'm not planning on having more time. There may be certain times, you know, you mentioned something like November. There may be certain times throughout the year where I might have a little bit more time. The thing is, I don't want to count that extra time will go towards gaming,
yeah, yeah,
because of other responsibilities. And that's something we talk about all the time. But just to reiterate here, this evening, is that we want to to be a good steward of our time, right? And so that includes rhythms of both work and rest. Work obviously means our vocation, the job that we work at, but we also have other responsibilities, especially as husbands, as fathers, as men. We have responsibilities to take care of and provide for and nurture those in our families, and try and lead them well, and both in direct ways and in indirect ways of, you know, so whether that means just like prepping for other stuff, like it can include those things as well. And so I don't foresee a drastic change in areas in which, oh well, when this happens I'll be able to free up some more time on a weekly basis, you know, something like that. I would think that the only drastic change that would cause something like that is if Samantha were to be able to do some work or had some other obligation in the evenings. In that case, okay, then I'll have some more free time to myself, you know, that I can use that. But I don't foresee that happening. So I as much as I optimistically want to say that, oh yeah, I might find some more time. Realistically, I think that responsibilities will fill up any free
yeah,
time that I have. More so, that will be the rule. The exception will be, oh, I actually have some free time, and I'm gonna use that to play a bit more video games.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's like it's like you even said, it's like sometimes you're gonna get that pocket of free time, and it's like, well, it would be better leveraged over here.
yeah.
Like what I will say is that around the end of April, my birthday
Mm-hmm.
is, and I did take a few days off, and so there might be a day or two of like binging,
Sure.
you know, where it's just like I just like go hog wild. But we'll see. You know, it also depends because like here's the other thing is like even on my days off, Byron's home with me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's not like he's at daycare and I can just sort of like screw off and play video games the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, you can't do that.
Yeah. Gotta be dad.
Yeah,
You know.
you gotta he's again, he's 2 years old.
Yeah.
And you know, and even if and here's the thing, even if I had like the whole day home, it's like my basement needs some serious attention. Like I
Mm.
like I have like two kind of like house projects. Like we've got two closets in the downstairs hallway that I want to pull everything out of, go through all of it, and like fold and reorganize everything that's in them. Like, and then my basement it's a basement, and it does what basements do, which is accumulates crap.
Yep.
So, and I want to go through, and spring cleaning's probably here in a couple months. And so, but yeah, so it's like there's stuff where it's like, even if I got like a free day or something, where it's like, yeah, would I probably spend some of that playing? Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, like yeah, I'd probably veg out for a couple hours at least.
Yeah.
At the same time, like the bulk of that is going to go towards other things. Hopefully. You never know. Sometimes I do go like, just like, enter degen goblin mode. Yeah. So
nice.
But yeah, I mean, short of like, let's just say like something wild happens and like a winning lottery ticket falls in my lap, and it's enough money that I can just stop working at the post office and I can commit full time to trying to build some sort of, breakdown platform, new site thing. Like, let's just say like I've fallen to millions of dollars, right? Short of that happening, yeah, I don't see myself. Like, I don't see and even there, my time will probably get gobbled up by like doing corporate nonsense garbage. But
yeah,
I don't have a high view of corporate America. Sorry. Like, it's not to say I despise all corporate Americans. I just, yeah, it's more the broader institution. Anyways, guys, I'm starting to fade Josh, and I think this might be sort of a like. So yeah, I don't see. I think this is just sort of like the rhythm.
Yeah, I agree. And that's kind of just what I wanted to talk about, was what gaming has looked like for us so far, and then what, as we move forward, if that's changing or what that looks like. But really, I do think it's that focus on just finding that rhythm, making sure your responsibilities are taken care of, you're working well, you're working hard, you're getting what you need to done, and then using your recreation time wisely. So whether that is with other people, with kids, things like that, video games are a part of that. We really enjoy video games. We want to talk more about, how we can enjoy them on a deep level, certainly, but it's not the end all be all. We've got some goals. We want to hit them. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it comes for the rest of the year.
And if we don't, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
We'll be fine. We might be sad. Might be disappointed in ourselves.
But take it from that Russian hockey player that you don't have to be made.
It's only a game.
It's only a game.
Why
you have to be made?
Why you have to be mad? Why you have to be mad? I love that. That's one of my favorite clips.
It's good. I showed it to my kids the other day, and they loved it as well.
So we have some closing forms here, Josh. And
that's right.
I think we do need to sort of engage them. And,
that's right. We got to shout it out,
Wow.
Something like that.
You're just stretching. Like, dude, like it's like when Bilbo Baggins talked about, like, this is how I feel. Like that line for, like, I feel like
butter.
A little bit of butter spread across too much toast. That is like
bread, yeah.
That is like,
I feel thin and stretched is what he said.
Thin and stretched. That is actually
like butter over too much bread.
Like butter over too much bread. Yes. That line, I feel like, describes the current sort of quality, like the current, like that's the mood right there, folks.
Thin and stretched.
But yeah,
there you go.
But we do need to do it's. But it's also, I feel, a fairly accurate descriptor of your pun work. It's thin and stretched.
Yeah. There you go. But we do have some shout outs, is what I was trying to get at, and failing. But so we like to shout out some people from our community that are doing some cool things, just highlight them on the podcast. And my shout out is for Spike, who was on the podcast just a couple episodes ago. Spike,
he's a G.
He is G. Congratulations on getting Suno AI to write a funny bluegrass song. You did great with that song. And if you know, if you're part of the community,
if you're in our Discord, you will know. And if
Mhm.
you're not, well, you should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So congratulations.
yeah,
Excited
congratulations,
for your song.
Spike. Yeah, that
Yeah.
song was pretty neat. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing what else comes out of that.
What other tunes are manifested from that song?
Stop.
Anyways,
You're making it weird now.
Yeah, sorry.
My shout out goes to friend of the show, Sojourner, also known as Isaac. He made himself a wallet, a wild and
Yeah,
wacky,
man.
wonderful wallet made out of wood
Mm.
and metal, and he did it himself, and it looks kind of cool. It's kind of shaped like those, like it looks like it might be kind of like a slimline wallet kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I dig those. Like I like the low profile. Like,
Yep.
dude, I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the podcast, but I don't carry a wallet with me anymore. I just got one of those like
Oh.
phone cases that has like a couple
Oh, yeah,
card
yeah.
slots in
Mhm.
it. That's all I do. I have my license and a card in
Cool.
there. And I'm just like, nope, this is it.
Nice.
Like,
So you need like a metal case for your phone.
so yeah.
Wood.
So get on it. I need a metal and wood phone case there, Isaac. Come on. Chop chop.
Nice.
But yeah, that's I thought that was cool. Is a like, and it's just I think it's good to make things with your hands, and I just wanted to shout that out. I thought it looked cool,
Yeah.
but also like I think it's good like that you're making things. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's
Awesome.
that's all I got. Well done, Isaac. You're a real one, dog. But
Sweet.
oh, we have one final form.
We have one final form that comes in the form of a question, and that question is, what is your question? What is your question? This is where we take questions from you and answer them here on the podcast for a chance to win. I believe it's $25, something like that. You get to win some money, some virtual currency for whatever platform you want. But that only happens twice a year. But if we pick your question that you've submitted somewhere on our social media, then your name gets thrown into the hat that we pick every 6 months. Anyways, for the question, I have to give it, man. I had one, and I want to ask it, and I want to because I want Nate to have to answer it. But unfortunately, there's another question. Unfortunately for the person who submitted that,
You know
there's
what?
another question that I really like.
I looked ahead in the notes. I looked at the spoiler. I
Okay.
will. Both of those are acceptable. So those will be our two questions for this month.
Okay. Then there you go. Then okay. No. Then I'll just go ahead and do the first one because I want Nate to answer this. The question comes from Jono, the Redeemed Ronin. He asks, if they made a sequel to Shadow of the Colossus that included a hook shot, but you had to play as Sonic the Hedgehog, would Nate still play it? That's the question. And I think it's a
Jono,
fantastic question.
I'm disturbed. Like that is some really deviant garbage that you just threw at my feet there. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's tough because like how Sonic, like how Sonic-y is this?
Mhm.
Is this like everything else is like sort of like that sort of like Shadow of the Colossus sort of like finesse and isolation and sort of emptiness and loneliness and squalor and all that. Like squalor is a bit of a strong term, but like that sort of that desolation. Like if that's all there, and then you have this dumb little Sonic model that might
with a hook shot. He has a hook shot
like,
with him.
At this point in time, like, dude, like I'm just saying, like that's gonna be a struggle. It would have to be like, somebody else would have to play this thing first and be like, nah, it's worth it.
I mean,
like I don't think I could do it.
Okay, just picture it in your mind. Okay, we can even use one of the Colossi from the first game, but picture it in your mind. You know, you're behind third person, whatever. You're behind the hedgehog, but you see this lumbering giant with a sword coming up, walking slowly, but these huge steps. The dust is shooting up in the air as he takes each step. You move your control sticks forward, and Sonic starts running, and then turns into a little spin ball and spin dashes up the side of this Colossus, and then finds the section where, you know, the glowy section, and then he does his little spin attack and hits that thing over and over and over again, and the Colossus falls down.
You're making it really weird and bad, and I do not like your vision. I'm just saying, like, I
Well,
would be
it's
really
Jono's vision.
conflicted. Like,
Yeah.
you're the one who painted the picture. That's your vision, dog. Like,
And then he swings his sword and you almost get flung off, but then Sonic, brings his hook shot out and shoots it out at the Colossus and grabs a hold of him.
dude, I
Then
don't know,
continues to
man.
spin
If it
dash
was good,
on.
if it's like, here's the thing. It's not like, okay, like, I hate Sonic because I hate his games.
Mhm.
I don't hate his games because he's in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more of like,
Okay.
I don't like those games, and
Mhm.
therefore I don't like him. So if he was in something that I legitimately considered good,
Mhm.
like a formula, like, now what I would say is, like, it would always be like incredibly jarring. It's like, if they could find a way to, like, sort of incorporate Sonic into that world without making him look like just some sort of like aberrant freak,
Yeah.
like, I'd be kind of cool.
I mean, you can make him look less like a hedgehog and more like a human, sort of like how they originally were going to make him look in the first movie. Something like that.
Oh, it's terrible. But I think, like, all I can say, Jono, is like, nah,
Wait, I've got it.
I
Okay.
don't like this
What
question.
if you don't have to play as Sonic and instead you play as Shadow? And that's why it's called Shadow of the Colossus.
Stop.
Shadow
You're
of the Colossus.
Let's just okay. Let's just put a pin in this and just be
Shadow
like, you know what my answer to the
of the
question is? Yeah, I
Colossus.
hear you. I hear you several times now. It's like, Jono, the answer to my question is, I'm disappointed in you. That's the answer to my question.
Oh boy! But you still get your name added in the hat. So
So
congratulations.
I like the second one though, and I think I'm gonna read it since you made me deal with that squalor. But question for the bros from our buddy the Trash Turkey.
That's right. Yeah.
What show from your childhood are you excited to share with your kids? My kids really enjoyed The Adventures of Pete and Peach, which was a favorite of mine in the early 90s. So I got to be honest, like, the first show that popped up, like, there's some stuff, like, I'm super stoked to show Byron Ultraman, but he's not ready.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
like Disney's Gummy Bears,
Oh, okay.
that
Okay.
was arguably, that might be one of my favorite, like, old school, like, 80s era cartoons. Not because it's like,
Nice.
I've gone back and I've tried to watch it. It's kind of dumb. But like,
Well,
I
yeah.
still, like, I want him to see that. And I kind of hope it holds up a little bit. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, Disney's Gummy Bears, like, hands
Nice.
down. Like, that's it. Good question, Turkey.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this question. So I've tried to get my kids into the old school, the Batman cartoon. And it hadn't really sticked for them. I stuck. Yeah, stuck. And same with the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Tried to get into it. I think they were a little young. They didn't get into it.
Batman the
So,
animated series is a little heavy too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's much more noir, Yeah. I get it. I'm going to try again is what I'm saying, because those are some of the best. But here recently, with a trial of Crunchyroll that I have, my entire family has really gotten into Dragon Ball Z, which is a bit surprising.
Well,
We
considering
started
that,
it
like,
from
some of the times the episodes are just 15 minutes of Goku screaming.
Yes, but man, I had not watched it in a very long time, and starting it from the very, very beginning of Dragon Ball Z, it is much more of an adventure at that point. For the
Oh
first
yeah,
couple episodes, you're following Gohan as he's kind of wandering around, this little like 4-year-old kid, and just seeing the imagination. You see Akira Toriyama all over it. It's not just fights. They don't start fighting until Raditz shows up, and even then the fight's really short.
dude.
Um,
Also, can we just, like, pour one out for Gohan, man? Like, worst childhood ever. Like, had
sure.
two kind of dads who both sucked. Like, Piccolo was like a bad surrogate father.
Mm.
Like, he was kind of abusive, you know?
Well, yeah, but Piccolo also, you see, like, Piccolo is evil, and
But then,
then I think training Gohan was a pivotal moment for him because it kind
yeah.
of changes him. Like,
But then,
yes, you're right.
and like, can we just say like Goku is kind of a terrible dad? Like he's just like very absent.
Oh, I disagree.
Well, it's and he's not terrible because like when he's there, he's great. But like
Yes.
he's dead a lot, or he's like
Yes.
training a lot, and it's I get it, but like it's also like man, poor Chi-Chi. That's all I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah,
and I like those dudes, but I just I
Mhm.
feel for Gohan. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel for young man.
Yeah, I get that. Yes. Yeah, you're right. He is absent a lot because he wants to protect the whole of Earth.
Yeah.
And so he puts that over his kids a lot of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
it's-
see that, but they have a good relationship, I think, when
Yeah.
they
Oh
are
yeah. Oh
together.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like and like listen, this I'm not saying like Goku ain't a G. I'm
Mhm.
just saying like
Yeah, not the best father. Yeah,
he's
I
not the
get
best dad.
there's a difference there. Yeah.
Like he loves his family
Mhm.
and he's got that, but like yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, it's funny how much just like all the kids have gotten into it. My 4-year-old daughter loves Gohan, like loves him, and it's hilarious. She pretends to be him. Both my daughters have found like strips of cloth basically, and they put him on the back of their pants, and they pretend like they have tails just because the Saiyans have tails. Which and they are pretending. Okay, they don't actually believe they have tails, because I know kids are weird nowadays, but they have fun with it. Anyways, so Dragon Ball Z is like the main answer that I'm giving to answer this question because we've all gotten into it so hard, and it's pretty awesome, except for the moments when Tien's arm gets chopped off by Vegeta, or no, by Nappa is how it was. So
Dude.
there are moments where it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right,
Dragon Ball don't play around though either, man. Like
yeah,
people die and sometimes
Mhm.
like there's a lot of inferred violence, but there's a lot of like actual just like on-screen violence.
So my 4-year-old has been like on the verge of tears because characters have died, and like it's very emotional because you see all the other characters' reactions, and she's like, she recognizes it and she feels it, and she like almost started crying multiple times because of that. I'm just like, oh, that's so sweet for these
Yeah.
cartoon characters. Anyways, so yeah, Dragon Ball Z. Great question, Trash Turkey. Your name will be added. Thank you for your question. If you guys have questions for us, reach out to us on social media. You can find all our social medias on our Linktree. That's linktree.com/the backlog breakdown. Tons of links there, but especially to social medias. We hang out the most in Discord. There's a specific channel for questions. So that's probably the easiest way, but there's tons of ways you can get a hold of us. So if you have any burning questions and you want to win $25, shoot us a question and maybe we'll answer it on a future episode.
Yeah. But that's it, man. That's all we've got. I
That's
think like this
Done
is
it.
just a good place. Yeah, we did the things. And until next time, Josh, what should they do?
Guys, keep beating down your backlogs and we'll keep breaking down the benefits.
I can't even talk anymore. That's how tired I am. Peace.